So let's do a quick sound check real quick. I don't know why, but my live stream wasn't going on YouTube for some reason. So yeah, it works. It totally works. Hello and welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate all of you guys coming. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the Lite Plus since I've got it, and a few live stream pros and cons, things I totally don't like, things I dig. And in comparison to probably my Autel Evo 2 Pro, which is my all-time favorite at this time. And I had to take a screenshot because I'm going to be getting rid of my Pro 7. I have to send it back to Triple Tech because they want to supply me with an 8 and to review that. So I'm going to be having the 8 on hand, and I'm going to try see what's the difference, if it's any good, if it's better, if it's worse, whatever. So I've been using the hell out of it. Like crazy. So Interactive DNA, Ricardo Montalban, Jose, Matt Bagwell, Maddie's Drone World. I appreciate all of you guys coming by. Akirasho, I just seen you guys. Most of you guys have seen you guys on the New England Journalist live stream earlier. So, and then if you, and what's up, Sean Helms? How you doing, my man? So if you guys have any questions, just drop them in the chat in the bottom, and we'll talk about whatever you guys come up with. If you guys have any questions about the Autel Evo Lite Plus that or tests or whatever that you want to suggest that I should do, I have coming up pro and con video. I have 5 things that I hate about it, and I have one that is 5 things that I totally love about it that is really good. Pretty much that stuff will be covered today in live stream, but I always appreciate if you guys watch my stuff. And like I said, my expectations for YouTube still hasn't changed. If I make 100 views in the first 24 hours, I'm happy, and I'll move on to the next subject. Another good thing that I wanted to point out is that Freewell actually hooked up with me, and they sent me free filters for the Lite Plus, which I did a video on, or I'm working currently on one. I flew my drone today, and I did a lot of comparisons in it. And that is simply because the Autel Evo Lite Plus comes already with the Autel filters. And Freewell just was so kind to bring out their own and come up with their own thing, which is really, really cool. And you guys are going to see the results in the video, though. And let's see what we got here. Johnny Truesdale, what's up, my man? Always late to the party. Yes, you're always late to the party, my man. What's going on with that? Interactive DNA, just imagine the Autel Lite Plus with a 100-degree camera angle. Pretty wide, 180 degrees. That's pretty wide. I think GoPros are going 170 degrees, like the view field, but then via software you can change that, and you can actually, you know, put it to like a smaller angle, whatever, something like that. At 808 State, how does the Nano Plus handle in the snow? I would not know, because I asked Autel if they could send me a Nano Plus, since I bought the Lite Plus and I bought the Autel Evo 2 Pro, and I made them some money by sending people their way. And they haven't responded to me since the change of administration. I have sent them multiple emails, and they have not responded to any of them. Like literally none of them. Not even my feedback that I usually send out. So I kind of like ignore them too now. Like I don't even write them anything. I don't give them no feedback whatsoever. So if they want to get back to me someday, sometime, somehow, they can, you know. One Vision Area, what's up, my man? How you doing? Aloha. Thank you for coming. And at 808 State, what we have. Did you download my free printout how to use the ND filter when filming at 30 FPS and 60 FPS? No, I did not. I did not print that out. I didn't even know I was supposed to print that out. What's up, Jeff Outlaw and Hot Rod? What's up, my Hot Rod dude? Where's the Evo 5 at? Well, the Evo 3 is supposed to be in the works, so I don't know how that works. But anyways, one more right here. Evo Lite Plus or DJI Air 2S for real estate photography and videography. I would go with the Lite Plus, to be honest. Camera quality wise, both of these guys are hammers. Flight characteristic wise, they're equal to each other. If you haven't known yet, the Autel Evo Lite Plus has the same flight characteristics in smooth mode when you switch it over as the DJI drones, which is really, really, really good. And when you put it into ludicrous mode, it's just as edgy and aggressive as the Autel Evo 2 Pro. I gotta make sure that I don't mix those two up today. Anyways, but yeah, the Lite Plus would be my choice in photography and videography. Based on that, equality wise, they are the same image quality wise. But with the Lite Plus, you don't have the problem that if you go to a shoot and it's within the range of a restricted area, and let's say you're waiting for permission, you will not have to worry about that you are going up. Even if you inquired permission, you got granted permission. Now you don't have to wait for the app, because you can still take off. That is why I would choose the Lite Plus. So, doing good, and you just working on learning Adobe stuff. Adobe, really? Adobe. I have the Nano Plus. Original Adobe sent it to me. Yes, had lots of issues at first, but after the update, much better. And that is another thing that we were talking about today with the Lite Plus. So let's get started on the Lite Plus, and I'm gonna follow up on the what you call that, on the chat afterwards. So Lite Plus, what are the pros? Well, first of all, I think that Mavic 3 has set a standard for people when they purchase drones, because the drone itself comes as the drone itself. It comes already in a bag as the premium bundle. Comes with 3 batteries in the premium bundle, 1, 2, and 1 in the drone itself, and it comes with ND filters. Up until recently, with the Mavic 3 premium bundle and stuff, ND filters were never included. So you usually had companies like Polar Pro, Skyread, or Freewell to have sold these ND filters separately or as a kit or whatsoever. And you always had to dish out extra on top of that. So now by buying the premium bundle, which actually has been going up in price. So I have seen that too. Ever since I dropped my video of that I got the drone, and I bought it for 1,700 something plus tax, came out like 1,800 something. On Amazon. I bought it at Amazon simply because I just wanted to make sure that it gets shipped here in time, it goes fast enough, and that I have return rights. And they gave me actually 180 days of return rights in case something goes wrong, which most likely is not going to happen. I'm not gonna send it back because I really like it. I do like the Lite Plus. She's almost an equal to my Evo 2 Pro. She's slightly smaller and slightly lighter. If you guys, can you guys see the difference really? There's not much. It's just you can tell in the weight wise, and I think that has to do with the battery. But flight time wise, when I first got this bad boy, I got out like maybe maybe around 30-ish, 31-ish kind of battery life, flight time. Extreme cases, I pushed it to like 34 or 35 minutes. While with the Lite Plus on the battery, which in this case, I don't even know how much milliamps this thing has. Honestly, I never even looked into it. I do not know. Good question. I do not know how much. Let's Google it. How much milliamp does the battery have for the Autel Lite Plus? Autel Lite Plus battery milliamp. Lite series have 6,175 over the 7,100 from the Autel Evo 2 Pro. And yet, because it's newer, I mean, it's 2 years old, the Autel Evo 2 Pro batteries, but it's newer. And I get average out of this about 34 to 30, 35-ish, even as pushed as far, I think, almost 36-ish minutes. Like, I pushed this really far with these batteries already. I got a little bit more gutsy with this, simply because I trust it. I've been flying Autel drones so long that I trust it. You know what I mean? So I really like it. The Evo drones look like Lamborghini and DJI Tesla car. Yeah, but Lambo is gonna eat your wallet dry with gas, while the Tesla is just plug them into the wall or go into the Walmart parking stall and just plug it into the electric thing until a Karen comes around and just, you know, unplugs it for you. I flew mine for right at 30 minutes today and still had almost 40% wet. Exactly. So the battery life on these batteries is like really good. The battery life on these drones is really good. Um, it takes a tad bit longer for recharge. So I'm waiting actually because that's one of the negative things. Let's go to, since we're with batteries. It's this freaking charger, man. This charger, I'm gonna unplug it. This charger right here. This is a disaster. So whoever came up with this charger for Autel needs a kick in the. Anyways, it definitely, because this is terrible. Just the way it is made. There's like these rubber studs in the bottom of this, and it's like totally like, what the hell? Like, what were they thinking? They weren't thinking at all, like at all. Because when I try to plug this in, it's either I slip off and it falls down. So now it just clicked in just like this. And then as soon as I have like 3 in here, it's terrible. I just hate the design the way it is. And sometimes when I try to move it over to, I have to grab it from like both sides, and then the plug comes out from this. So whoever came up with this it's horrible. So I'm waiting for. I didn't dare to plug it into the aftermarket charger that I have for the Autel Evo 2 Pro batteries. I don't even think that this plug is going to fit. I never even tried, because battery-wise, I don't like really mess around. This electronics, so I don't really like mess around with that and interchange that. But, which brings me to the next one. Interchanging-wise, these drones come already with the propellers, the light, the low noise propellers that came out for the Autel Evo 2 Pro. If you look at my Autel Evo 2 Pro, you'll notice that I still have the original propellers on this. That is because when the drone first came out, I gotta turn this off. I actually bought so many sets of these, and I only have used like 3 sets with all the flights that I had, because I never clipped anything. I always store it nicely. I have that rubber wrap that is around this, and I have the hard case for it. Then I throw it into my bigger backpack, and I have no problems with this. But the propellers on this, they also fit on this. The clipping mechanism on these propellers is the same for these motors, even though the motors do look smaller, but the top part, the clicking stuff, is the same. So the motors on the Autel Evo 2 Pro are a little bit bigger and probably produce more rounds per minute and stuff, and might even last longer. I don't know, but everything is to conserve weight. They are tiny little bit, tad bit smaller. I don't know. You guys cannot really see this. So, hang on a second. I gotta yell at my little man. Okay. I had to yell at my little man because he started making noise and it's distracting me, like full on. He wants to play with the dog right now. Anyways, so yeah, those things are interchangeable. So these ones are the low noise propellers of the Autel Evo 2 Pro that actually come with this drone already. And I swapped out a whole set. I flew it for like 3 batteries, and I actually left them on. These ones are the low noise propellers, and I have the stock propellers laying somewhere around. They both have the same size, the same shape, that weird thing. This drone is so much more quieter than the original propellers of this. And even with this, because I think the motors are bigger and more RPMs, because she has to push out more power in order to lift her, that's the reason why she's so much louder. And weight-wise, this one is lighter, but this one is so much more quieter. And it is the quietest drone for this price class as of this time. It's quieter than the Mavic 3. It's quieter than the DJI Air 2S. It's quieter than the Autel Evo 2 Pro. Way quieter. I think the Autel Evo 2 Pro takes the crown. It's like the loudest. Then get the Mavic 3, and then you have the DJI Air 2S, and then have this one. Like, this one is so quiet. And then after that, you get like all the minis and all that stuff. And I haven't gotten to fly any of these Hubsan yet, which hopefully one of these days I will do. Anyways, electricity where I live in New York State doubled this winter. I'm so happy that I live in Hawaii that I don't have to worry about that electricity thing right now, because the price is going to go up. If I don't want the electric bill to be that high, I have a generator too, because we have like plenty power outages over here in Hawaii. So I have a generator. So I just dump some gallons of fuel inside there and we pump it up and we can power the whole house, the ACs and everything else with it. So if I have to charge my drones, I will. Anyway, so we went through the batteries. We went through the propellers are interchangeable, and so are the ND filters. Even though Firmware brought out a dedicated kit to the Lite Plus, the Autel Evo 2 Pro and the Lite Plus cameras appear to be the same housing. Like these things right here. This is the Autel Evo 2 Pro, and then this one is the Lite Plus. It is the same housing, guys. It's the same type of screw on. It's the same thread. It's everything is the same. So you can actually, if you do have Freewell all day kit, whatever, from the Autel Evo 2 Pro already, it's interchangeable with the Lite Plus. I tried it. I did it, and it's going to be in the ND filter video. So, but yeah, that is, yeah, like I said, the only difference is color-wise. The Autel filters produce a little bit different color from the Freewheel filters, but more of that is going to be in the video itself. So, so we went through batteries, we went through propellers, we went through noise, we went through the battery charger, which is terrible at all, like at all times. It's horrible. Next thing on the list would be the controller. The controller on this one, even though it does not have a screen, it has this. So you got to hook up your phone or whatever. This is one of the most comfortable and best controllers I've ever flown a drone with. Like, it is similar to the Paradigm Alpha filter. I mean, the filter to the because I'm looking at the Freewheel filters. It is similar to the Paradigm Alpha controller, but there's a huge but. Even this controller with my phone would not weigh as much as just the controller of this. So the controller of the Autel Evo Lite Plus feels so much more sturdier, and it's so much more nicer, and it's super cool. The only bad part about this controller is that Autel thought it would be cool. Oh yeah, let's make it removable knobs. So we can take off the knob, right? We're going to put them after. Like, where's it going to go after? Like, they did not produce like usually DJI does when you take off the knobs and you can clip them into the handles. They didn't do that on this. Like, unless I missed something, but they didn't do that at all on this. And it's kind of bugging me. Look, I still have I get to pull off one more. Oh, no. Sticker. There's one more sticker that I never even take off. See, I've been flying it this whole time. I never even noticed that I still have the sticker on. See, this is another thing. This is a bad part. They have been putting on 2 stickers. One was on the sticker on the cover, the gimbal cover itself, and this one was on the controller. They have been using this glue thing instead of, you know how you usually get the foil, the static foil that just hooks up to the thing? And they have been using these weirdo stickers. like, and they have been, I don't know if you guys can see it in this, but you see how it is right there. See with the glare? It left this residue, this really nasty residue. It's horrible. I hate it. It's totally rubbish. Like, I don't know why they did that at all. Did my comment section just die on my? Oh, I have to scroll. I have to scroll. Really? Why do I have to scroll? You know. Kanalunui FPV. Alika is here. One of the best FPV pilots I've ever seen. He's in my video of I let a real FPV pilot fly my drone. The way we met was really funny because I just let him fly my drone. I met him at one parking lot. I heard him fly FPV drones. I had my DJI FPV with me. Never flew in a macro at all. Walked up to him, told him, "Hey, bro, you ever heard about the DJI FPV?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "You want to fly it?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Why not?" And he said, "Because I'm scared." And I was like, "Why are you scared?" "That I'm going to crash it." "Well, if you crash it, you buy it." So he flew it, and he flew the hell out of it, and he's freaking good. It was really good, like really cool. Anyways, so what do you think of the sensors between both the Autels you have in terms of flight characteristics? Okay, so to bring you to the sensors, I totally love the Lite Plus sensors. The Lite Plus sensors, these sensors are pretty much the same. They are in the same area. They are, if you look at it, this is the Autel Evo 2 Pro, and this is the Lite Plus. So the sensors are in the same spot in the front, in the bottom, and in the rear. The cool part is that Autel caught onto it and said, "You know what? Screw this. We are not going to put the side sensors, which this does not have at all because there's the battery right here. And we're not going to have those stupid top sensors." I'll tell you one thing. If you fly a drone within the United States and you fly it without an observer or out of the line of sight and you crash your drone, it's your own fault. You don't need no damn sensors to tell you that you're too close or that you're not. You know what I mean? If you don't know how to fly your drone and you can't really see it or have an observer to tell you, "Oh, bro, there's an obstacle coming up," it's your own damn fault that you crashed it, bro. Like, literally, these sensors right here. I keep looking at these. I gotta take these filters, right? I keep wanting to say filters. So these sensors right here on the top of this Autel Evo 2 Pro, they are horrible because they did the same thing with the Mavic 3. When I had extreme sunlight, flight characteristic wise, the sensors on my Autel Evo 2 Pro stopped me and slowed me down. While the sensors on the Autel Evo Lite Plus never did it once yet at all. And I flew during high noon sun, full on blast forward with wind in my face, sun coming during sunrise, sun coming in my face during sunset, sun behind me while I fly. There was never ever was there a problem that I was flying this drone with slowing me down how the Autel Evo 2 Pro did when I flew, for an example, a bigger bridge and I flew underneath and I tried to fly through it. The sensors on the Autel Evo 2 Pro are a little bit more aggressive and they never fully turn off. Don't know why, but they just don't. Because even if you click on and you take off all the options of taking off all the obstacle avoidance and everything, and it gives you the warning and it tells you, "Oh, you can't, when you fly right now, you're not going to have no obstacle avoidance." Yeah, I don't want no obstacle avoidance. And you try to fly in between an obstacle, she slows down. She tell you, "Oh, sorry, but I'm gonna slow down right now." Why are you slowing down? I don't want you to slow down. I want to go through there in that speed. I just was going 7.5 miles an hour. Now you slowed me down to 3, and you let me go back onto 7.5 miles an hour after I passed the obstacle. You just ruined my shot. I have to fix that in post. You know, so yeah, the Autel Evo 2 Lite Plus, no, Autel Evo Lite Plus sensors are better. I think they used slightly different. They positioned the same, but I think they use different sensors and they are better. They're not as susceptible to. Is that the right word? They're not as affected. They're not as affected. There's your comment. They're not as affected as the Autel Evo 2 Pro sensors. If you scroll up, oh, okay. If you scroll up, you have to scroll up. So that was because of my, yeah. I was trying to look for my new, comments and I couldn't find them. I've seen them on the live chat, but I couldn't find them in here. So, anyways, somebody says I give almost zero about sensor of my drones. Kind of wish they were just always off by default. That's if you're a good pilot. You still have people out there who are reluctant to fly without it, and which is good because sometimes you just simply have certain errors like going forward. You think that you are, I'm still this far away. There is a perception issue. Like if you look straight up, like in one diagonal area like this, and you're looking at your drone, sometimes the perception is different. You're thinking you're further away. It's not like unlike FPV where you have it right in front of your nose where you know that you're flying there. So sensors are somewhat good if you want to protect your investment. Okay. It's not gonna sensors by all means will not protect you against power lines, ghost branches. That ghost branches are like branches where leaves fall off and stuff, and they are like super thin, but when you clip them, then and the drone just falls down out of the sky. Okay. Sensors are somewhat good, but if it's overkill like they did with the Autel Evo 2 Pro, which was sort of like a sales gimmick at that time, or we have 360-degree obstacle avoidance, it's not full on 360 degrees because you have a little bit of a dead spot on the left and right. Because I almost clipped, like I was like literally was like right in front of me going sideways, and she couldn't see the back of my car just simply because the angle that I was heading for it. Okay, so the sensors on the Autel Evo Lite Plus are way better, like way better. So there is what? Okay, thank you, Maddie. Maddie just took care of some spam comments. Is that what it is? Yeah, and he was timed out by Maddie. Thank you, Maddie. That's why I make you guys commentators, moderators. You know, besides that, you guys are commentators. You guys also gonna be moderators. You know. What's up, Thomas Baker? How you doing? AKA TEB Drone Flyer. How you doing, my man? So, what do you think about the Skydio 2 Plus obstacle avoidance? So, I can't say much about that at this time because I'm producing videos, but the obstacle avoidance on the Skydio 2 Plus is amazing. It's great. The Skydio 2 Plus is the king of tracking and the king of obstacle avoidance. Not quite sure what they did different in programming wise or sensor wise or how they do it. I have no idea, but that thing is a bomb. Like it's crazy how good it is. So it's really good. Anyways, Lite Plus. Let's get back to Lite Plus. Another thing I don't really like and don't really care for at this drone or on this drone at this time, firmware related, probably most likely firmware related, is that the hyperlapse is total rubbish. I brought out a hyperlapse battle video between the Autel Evo 2 Pro, the Mavic 3, and the Autel Evo Lite Plus. And the Lite Plus was like, it's not even back in a bus. It's like hooked up on a chain, dragging in that bus that the Mavic 3 and the Autel Evo 2 Pro was driving. Okay. It's horrible. It has a bobbing issue. I tried it multiple ways. I tried indoors with reception of GPS. There's like no wind whatsoever and was padding everywhere. And she still was bobbing. It's a firmware issue, you know. I had no wind whatsoever above me, 50 feet above me or 20 feet above me. And I was just, you know, trying the hyperlapse and stuff. Hyperlapse is totally useless. This drone is not made for hyperlapse at this point. Another part is I'm not sure if it's because the weight or the power of the motors or whatever, because anytime you have something that is really cool at something and really good at something, you always sacrifice somewhere else. While the Autel Evo 2 Pro is super strong in winds, so is the Mavic 3. They are louder because they have stronger motors, more RPMs, hence whatever automatically makes it louder, right? Now, by sacrificing the weight, making it smaller, more portable, and you have less weight, all that stuff, you're sacrificing the stability of the drone. Even though people say this is the orange brick in the air, this is a freaking brick in the air because I can fly this sucker going 75 miles an hour in the wind. Okay? There's 75 miles an hour wind gust that I had this bad boy in, and you can't tell on the freaking footage that there was ever any wind at all. The Mavic 3 is very similar to that. It is really, really stable, very strong drone. While this, on the other hand, even with the slightest winds that come from the sides now, guys, it's not the front and it's not the rear. It comes from the side. If it's coming from a diagonal angle from this way or from the side directly, this drone has issues of staying in place. we tried to prove that with a video where we tried to blow away our drones, but it kind of like went into the childish area. So we ended up just making it a fun video instead of a factual video. But even during the factual part, you could tell that she was bobbing, weaving, and going sideways. But during regular times, when I watched the radar on the bottom left, you can tell that the drone is tilting whatsoever, and that she's like leaning forward, trying to compensate. She's moving because I'm losing like 3 or 4 feet going back and forth. That is a huge issue, even during hyperlapse and even during stability wise. And when you like the cliff lines and stuff, when you have a cliff, let's say this is the cliff and the wind comes and it blows up like this, you have that wind shear coming up from the bottom up. She had no problem handling this. And she only went up for like 2-3 feet maybe, and then she dropped back down to where she's supposed to be. Because now, remember, guys, these ones are GPS drones, so they go by location wise and by the sensors that just told them there's the 0 point. We took off from there. We are like 400 feet up in the air, and we're measuring it. Okay. And we are like GPS wise with the IMU and all that stuff. There's a whole combination of all these things. This drone does not handle well in wind at all, like at all. She is not bad during video filming. She's pretty good if you have a quick shutter speed during taking pictures, but she sucks in hyperlapse, and she totally sucks if you're somewhere really windy and you try to get a close-up shot of something, and there's something where you can see that she's going to be moving up and down. If it's too close, if it's higher up, usually drone shots are usually from higher up or straight down or whatever to get like that unique perspective from a helicopter scene, whatever. But people are getting so used to drone shots these days, so that it's nothing special really anymore, you know? So you really got to come up with something cool. So, okay, so what do we have here? Let me go. I broke down because I had a... Drones also need to be able to hover near power lines and recharge. Yes. Drones also need to be able to hover near power lines and recharge. Recharge? Where you hook up to the power line? Is there something I missed? Nah, I'm just... yeah, they need to be able to hover in place. When the Autel Evo 2 Pro was first released, that's the one thing that I got to give DJI. DJI Mavic 2 Pro, DJI FPV, DJI Mavic 3. I have never, ever in my life adjusted the IMU at any of those drones, ever. And I just literally, they asked me for the compass thing, which seems to be a big, huge issue, which I do, you know, and I just do the compass thing. But other than that, the DJIs are like super solid, and they stay really, really good in place. And the Mavic 3 in the beginning, before the first update, was really horrible at first, but then they popped out the update like right off the bat, like not even a couple days later, there was an update already, and they fixed that, and it was really fast. So I know it's a firmware issue, and probably a firmware issue for the hyperlapse on this one as well, as much as it was an issue for the hyperlapse at some point when it first came out for Autel Evo 2 Pro. You got to remember now, hyperlapses did not come out until the Autel Evo 2 Pro came out with it. You know, I believe there was no other hyperlapse. So this whole hyperlapse thing drives me nuts anyways, because it's not a hyperlapse, it's a time lapse, but I think they got to call it a hyperlapse. If people would understand, a time lapse is what these drones do. They take a picture every 2 seconds or every 4 seconds, and they move, and that's a time lapse, okay? A hyperlapse is taking a video and speeding it up. You're losing frames, and you're going to make it look faster because you just flew from A to B, and you make it look faster. That is a hyperlapse. That's different, okay? Action cameras came up with the hyperlapse because you was driving around or you was walking in the city, and instead of showing somebody for 15 minutes on that you just walked 2 blocks, you could just do a hyperlapse and you was there in like 30 seconds. That's a hyperlapse. That's different. You took a video for 15 minutes and you sped it up to 10-second video. Okay. Anyways. So hovering wise, wind wise, she weak. Now we get to the strength of this drone. Is there any more weak spots? Anything bad that I can talk about this sucker? Besides that the charger sucks and that the hyperlapse is broken and that the wind stability is not the greatest. This drone has tremendous amount of battery life. This drone has an impeccable detail in its camera, and it is actually a little bit more detailed and more powerful than my Autel Evo 2 Pro. Video, image quality wise, she's better than the Autel Evo 2 Pro. Hate to say it, but I think it's because they used a different chip, and she's stronger and better detail wise and image quality wise. She's better than the Mavic 3. She's not better than the Mavic 3 in wide angle, because it's a micro four thirds. So the picture is way bigger. Okay. This is a 1-inch. It's way smaller than a micro four thirds. Okay. But I don't like the color science on the Mavic 3 because it's unrealistic. They have the Hasselblad color science in there ever since they did the Mavic 2 Pro thing. And it's been the same ever since. Even with the DJI FPV, I have the same thing. They're crushing the blacks. They have off colors. Everything is a little bit less saturated. It's not natural. You always have to edit the footage. What I don't like about this is that you don't have 10-bit. Why not? It seems to be the same camera. It seems to be the same type of sensor, whatever. And you don't give me 10-bit? Are you serious right now? You're telling me that because you saved on size and stuff, you cannot put 10-bit? Are you serious right now? I think that's crap. That's bull. You know, it's a marketing thing right now. They don't want the Autel Evo 2 Pro just to drown because they brought out the Lite Plus. Well, let it drown. It's what it is. You know what I mean? Like, people have to understand that technology always advances. You'll always have something. Computers stopped at some point to have this and this much gigahertz. It went to like 3.5, 3.8, 4.2, and that was it. Nobody ever brought out a freaking computer that is like standard on the market for like 6.5 gigahertz or whatever, because it's not necessary and it's like totally like, you know what I mean? We didn't advance that far. And that's the thing about it, is like, okay, this drone is 2 years old, the Autel Evo 2 Pro. As long as you make batteries and parts for it, we should be cool. You know, we should be good about it. But they brought out the Lite Plus. It's been 2 years. And you're not giving me 10-bit? Are you serious right now? And you don't give me log either? So that is a software issue, though. Many of these issues on this Lite Plus can be fixed with software, okay? They can't tell me that they cannot throw in the 10-bit log. That's a lie. I think that's a lie. Because everything else is so much similar to this. The gimbal itself, even the way it mounts and stuff, everything looks so much like the Autel Evo 2 Pro. It's so similar to each other that I think the Autel Evo 2 Pro was the stepping stone to make the Lite Plus. So if that's the case, make the software just as powerful, because now you have a dedicated software. What people didn't understand was with the Autel Evo 2 Pro, the software and the controller right here stayed the same. Like, it stayed the same from the Autel Evo 1. So they kept the same controller. They kept the same software. Whenever there was a software update, the software was updated for the Autel Evo 1 and the 2 Pro, or the 2, or AK, or whatever you want to call it, for that body type, that drone. So now you have the Sky app, which is a dedicated software. Okay, they did it. Just like DJI has like all these, whatever you call it, software, Sky app, I mean, DJI Fly app, DJI 4, they have so many Fly apps. Like, it's like, okay, I have a Mini, I need this. I have a Mavic 3, I need this. I have the DJI Air 2S, I need this. But it's normal. If you dedicate it to a certain drone, you slowly but surely will get into it. You know, it's a rabbit hole, drone flying, if you guys didn't know. So, well, I know for a fact it's a rabbit hole. Anyways, okay, let me go through the chat real quick. I think I've been missing a lot. Can you go around a building and still have FPV on it? I'm lost. I think this comment must have been a long time. I do not know. Anyways, okay. FPV video signal on it. Yeah, I went around the building before and I had video signal. It depends on how much video signal there is. Like, I go even into canyons or like cliffs, like low down, and I'm like on the top of the cliff, and I can't see because I'm not going on the edge. I'm not gonna fall down there just to look at my drone, you know. So I see you going down, and I'm like, oh, I cannot see it anymore. But then I look at my screen and I know, okay, I'm there, and then I press my button to look straight down so I can see what's in the bottom when the water comes, and then I bring it straight back up after. Yeah, it's kind of a admission to losing line of sight, but I want the shot, and it's like literally right there. You know, it's not like I'm flying 4.5 miles down there and fly into your auntie's kid head, you know, because I couldn't see the drone anymore. So, anyways, yeah. So the video signal is pretty strong on this. While I put I use my car a lot when I fly, and I use it as like a table, the hood. When I put my Autel Evo 2 Pro controller on the hood, I lose the signal a lot because it's on the hood. Get the motor. I put my Autel Evo Lite Plus controller on the hood. Pfft, she didn't even budge. She don't care. You know, I keep looking at my drone. I'm looking at it down there, and I'm waiting for the app to tell me, sorry, but you have weak video signal, or I have like a buffering thing. None of that. It's not happening. So, LSW video, meaning that the reason why there is no 10-bit is just lazy program on Evo 3 is coming out. So does that not compete with it? I don't know. Well, the thing is too, like I don't know if it's necessarily lazy programming or if it was marketing, because you can't put too much good things on a good thing, because then nobody buys the next thing. See what I mean? It's like a marketing thing. So because they didn't put the 10-bit, everybody was like, I'm going to skip the Lite Plus this time. I'm going to wait for the EV3. Well, everybody wanted to wait for the Mavic 3, and it took forever. It took like 3 years before they brought it out from DJI. So I don't know. I think it's a marketing thing too. Does the hardware encoder on the chipset support 10-bit? Maybe it does, and they just have not finished the firmware to deal with it. Only they know. Yes, they do. And that is pretty much it. I think it's a marketing thing. Like it has to do with marketing, and that's the reason why they've been kind of not disclosing any info about it. But I mean, I don't know nothing. I'm just can't go off of speculations, just like you guys, because I'm not nobody special. They don't even answer my regular emails when I ask them a question, you know. So even when I try call these days, they don't. I always gotta leave message, and nobody returns my call at Autel. So Autel, if you watch this live stream right now, you suck. You totally abandoned me. So I don't know what happened with your new administration, or if I'm just not big enough because you don't have enough exposure. I'm sorry. I still love your drone, but still yet. Anyways. Getting back to the Autel Evo Lite Plus. The biggest strength of this drone, the Autel Evo Lite Plus, and its firmware itself, is the auto mode. When you go, you have the pro mode, which is still not really pro, which I'm kind of mad about it, because it's not really pro either. Like a lot of times when I try to fly in pro and I set up my settings, the exposure value still automates itself once in a while. It's not a huge issue, but I can see it because I can see flickering in the whites. So if you want to give me a pro mode, give me full control of everything, including the exposure value. I want to lock in my rates all together. No exception whatsoever. You want to put aperture priority? Yeah, no problem. You want to put shutter priority? Go for it. But you give me pro and you tell me manual, give me all the values. I want them all, not just, well, we're going to keep one for ourselves. Then it's not full manual, so don't lie about it. Okay. But other than that, this drone shines in auto mode. Like you'll see it too in the video when it pops out with the freewheel ND filters and stuff. I tried the auto mode and I tried the manual mode and all that stuff. You're gonna see a difference. But she is really strong. She adjusts really, really smooth. You know, when you back then in the days when you turn up and you had like light coming in, and then all of a sudden you didn't have light and it was dark, and you had that flickering, and then it was like dimming out so much that you couldn't even see anything, or even if you was going to look into light, it looked like, don't walk into the tunnel. You know, it was so bright that it was like white out, and you don't have that with this drone. It's just really, really nice, and there's no color shifting in there. It's I really like it. Like, I really like it. The one thing that I don't like about it is you give me 6K, you give me 4K, you give me 2.7K, you give me 1080p. Because everything's so similar, you only give me 120 FPS in 1080p. Are you serious right now? If this is an upgrade, you got to keep what you had on the best one already. So that means 2.7K 120. You should have left that, because that's what I love most about my Autel Evo 2 Pro. This one doesn't have that. And I don't understand why, because I think it's capable of doing that, you know? Autel, prove me wrong. If anything, prove me wrong. You know what I mean? So, anyways, maybe the next Autel will be the Lite Pro. Don't you give them any ideas? What the hell is wrong with you? How's the flight characteristics on the Evo Lite? The flight characteristics on the Evo Lite is exactly as in smooth mode, because it's so easy to click in between the modes. There's 3 modes. There's smooth, standard, and ludicrous. In standard, it's a standard mode. It flies like every other drone. There's no over-aggressive kind of stuff. There's no oversteering. There's no nothing. In smooth, she flies just like in DJI. The one thing that they've implemented on this is the gimbal ramp. So even if you put it in ludicrous, because you can adjust the modes in the options, and you say, okay, ludicrous, I want her to go super fast, up, down, sideways, wherever turn, but I want the gimbal speed to be low. Yeah, should have put that for the Autel Evo 2 Pro. They implemented some sort of gimbal ramp, which is minor. It's tiny, but it's noticeable. That's why she flies like the DJI. So flight characteristic wise, she's super smooth. I tell you, it's one of the best drones that have ever flown so far. Here's a thought. Has Autel even sold anybody the nano and light versions yet? Seems like they have only sold the plus models of each from what I've seen. Or am I wrong? You're wrong. I think I've seen. Oh, wait, no, you might be right. Because there's a lot of plus guys out there, and I barely see any nano or light, just the regular version. You might be right. You might be right. But why? Plus supposed to mean a extra, huh? That's not, you know, it's not. Hey, Mark. What's up, my man? How you doing? So we're gonna catch carpool to Walmart. It's insider. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I'm getting distracted here. You guys distracting me. What the hell is wrong with you? Anyways, so where we was, I'm curious to know why you bought the Lite when you have the Evo 2 Pro. E2P has more camera control on a mature platform plus 10-bit. Okay, so to answer your question is simple, because I like Autel. I sold the Mavic 3 because I was dissatisfied with it. I wasn't satisfied with its performance, nor was I satisfied with its image quality or the colors. We can fight about it as much as we want. I'm not going to hang up on sharpness. I'm not going to argue with anybody about this. This is simply my own opinion. I do not think that the Mavic 3 met my expectations, and I wasn't willing to take a huge value cut by keeping it too long and then selling it for $1,000 less. I sold it for a very good price. I think I was only like $100 below what I bought it for, because I bought it from Original Dobo, who brought it here to Hawaii at that time, and he brought it here because he crashed his. Anyways, long story short, I bought it. Okay, I bought it from him straight out of his hands, and that is the reason why I sold my Mavic 3, because I didn't want to lose value of the drone, because I was dissatisfied with its performance. Dissatisfactory on a performance level for the Mavic 3 does not mean that it's a bad product or that it's a bad drone. Do not put too much weight on my opinion. It is just simply my opinion. Okay, it was my opinion that the color science is off. It's not what I'm looking at when I'm flying the drone. While with Autel, it always has been. Another reason why is I bought it, was because I wanted to see what a smaller version of this product can do and how much they are in similar way to each other. And I wanted to make videos for other people. And plus, I like to fly drones. You're putting me in a pinch here, because if my wife watches this, I have to come up with better reasons than saying I wanted it. But yeah, it's pretty much that. It's because I like Autel. Yes, it do have 10-bit, but how many clients do you have that request from you 10-bit? To be honest, most clients don't even know about it. So it depends on in what field you are. I'm in real estate and all that stuff, and video making, filmmaking part, not necessarily on a professional level, more like for local commercial kind. And what just happened? Can you guys still hear me? I hope the sound didn't go out. Did the sound go out? Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Anyways, yeah. So that's just to answer your question. I don't want to argue with nobody about it. DJI still makes great drones, no doubt about it. I'm just not satisfied with the outcome on how I film. I just don't like it. I'm not, because I'm used to this. If you believe it or not, I have in the video coming up the screenshot of this, because I have to pull it down from this tablet right here, because I'm getting hopefully a new one. I flew this for 14,000 flights, almost 19,000 miles. Okay, with a lot of footage in it. So that's the reason why I'm bringing out all these videos and stuff that I like, just entertainment wise. But besides that, I just don't believe that the Autel Evo 2 Pro was such a bad drone. It had its initial issues, but once you got used to it, I got so used to it. Excuse me. I got so used to this sucker that I was unable to fly my Mavic 2 Pro because I just couldn't. I totally forgot the menu, and I didn't like the way she handled because she was too smooth because I was used to this aggressive part of this Autel Evo 2 Pro. So, anyways, yeah. So, time to fly. Say my Mavic 3 has been a disappointment since I updated the most recent firmware. Gonna hold on it. Wasn't there I just thought I saw today that there was another update for the Mavic 3. Wasn't there? I thought there was another one that came up today. You might want to check. I have no idea. Anyways, I did professional commercials for TV with an iPhone 6. Not one said anything. They love it. How you use the gears, cameras don't matter much. A point. The Mavic 3 video definition looks like an up-converted video from 1080p. Nah, it's okay. So this has nothing to do with sharpness. Okay, since we're on this whole Autel thing, I believe Autel Lite Plus and Autel Evo 2 Pro. Whenever I do a lot of editing because I do all the editing myself. The Mavics, the DJI cameras in general, just don't have the detail in clarity. Has nothing to do with the sharpness. The Autel sometimes do that whole crispy thing where it's like a little bit like edgy, fringing on like super contrasty colors. But other than that, the Autels catch the natural colors and also the details on leaves and colors and trees and whatever it is, while the DJIs never do. They are just washy, like softer in detail and sharpness. And I just don't like that. But I think what hangs it up most for me is the detail in itself. And if you ever compare and you zoom in and you have to cut in a little bit, when you have to zoom in a little bit just to make that video pop, you will see it that the same shot with the Mavic 3 does not provide as much detail as the shot with the Autel Evo 2 Pro or now with the Lite Plus. While I think that the Lite Plus is a tad bit better in detail quality than the Autel Evo 2 Pro. That's why I believe it's capable of 10-bit. And it's capable of having 2.7K in 120 FPS. It's just Autel just never do it, But anyways, they gotta fix that. Besides that, the pros and cons on this drone is, like I said, it's the auto modes. The auto modes on this drone and video quality is enormous. I don't want to shake this around without that. Sorry, I'm gonna put this on real quick. Sorry, my bad. I hate when I move it around because that can damage the gimbal. Just letting you guys know. Oh, that's another thing too. This gimbal cover is pretty much like copied from this one. They left a little bit more room on the top over here so that you can put ND filters on top. This time they did it. If for those who remember back in the days, the first Autel Evo 2 Pro segment that came out, this part right here was like kind of flat. You couldn't leave the ND filters on without scratching the glass. So by putting on the covers, which also would put ultimately pressure on the what you call that? On the gimbal and the rubbers. So it really depends on the target customer. Bokeh, style, creativity matters too. Yeah, but I barely got bokeh with any drone, like ever. Like that would be like literally like an Inspire, where you have like those optical zooms and all that stuff. This is all digital zooms, so you cannot really create any of that. But other than that, yeah, I get your point. When I worked on TV, the 480p videos looks amazing in digital beta, and 1080p just amazing. Lots of definition. People get confused with video definition and resolution. True. That is true. That is totally true. Resolution is huge. Like, it's big. While definition is clarity in image. Did I get that right? I hope I didn't screw it up right now. I made myself look like a fool. Alex Annis, Lite Plus does look sharp and clear. Yes, it does. Totally. I totally dig it. So that is one of the things why it's more narrow than the E2P. Yes, it is. I like the fact it's also steady and not jerky. That has to do with the flight characteristics. I have something on this table and I cannot move my mouse. Yeah, that has to do with the ramping speed of the gimbal and stuff and the flight characteristic itself. I'm scrolling through the chat too, so Why would someone buy the Lite when the Lite Plus is only $50 more? Maybe Autel realized this. Probably, maybe. That's a good point. So it's not jerky like the Autel or like the EV3 Pro. No, it's not. Like flight characteristic wise, a lot of people ask me that. It's super smooth. If you watch my initial video when I first got it or something, you're gonna see these gimbal movements. I'm pointing it out in there too. It was like right off the bat. The shot of that palm tree was my very first flight. Like literally, like I was trying it and I shot it with that. It's super smooth. Like you do that a lot with buildings and all these other things. I like to have shots where you fly up to an object or the subject itself and you move up and then you slowly move the gimbal down. Now with DJI, you can't do that because DJI has that whole ramping speed inside the gimbal. What's up, honey? Yeah, is the movie Pow? Okay, then you need to go in the house because Daddy's doing his live stream. Okay. Anyways, DJI has to get the gimbal ramping speed in there. Now with the gimbal ramping speed, when you're going and then you start going downwards with the gimbal, it slowly moves. The Autel Evo 2 Pro is always like, it's like, oh, it just ruined my shot. So you got to back up and you do it again. You're wasting a lot of battery life. So the Autel Evo 2 Pro, once you get used to it, when to do certain shots and you slow down the gimbal movement enough, you actually reach a point. This is the point where I want, and then you slowly start moving down. And you're keeping the shot, you're holding the shot, you're moving slower forward and slower the gimbal downwards, and that's how you get your 10-second, 15-second shot of the drone shot. Because usually you want to try hold the shot for at least 10 seconds, if not longer than that. Sorry, my mouth is really dry from. So yeah, but you also like using ND filters, while guys like me seldom do. I think the MAV3 footage is quite sharp, while Evo 2 always look too sharp. Perhaps ND filters use that makes us feel so different. Might be. I have no idea. I don't know if ND. I never looked at that. But I use ND filters on the Mavic 3 too. So I don't know. It's not a bad image. It's just the detail in itself. Like I said, it's an opinion. It's not necessarily anything to really argue about. Like Johnny here thinks that it's a good image. I believe that. You know, it's just it wasn't to my satisfactory. That's all it was. You know, and that's where people, you know, I don't know why. Like even on my videos, sometimes they try to fight about that whole thing, and I'm not gonna fight with you about it. You know, just your opinion. It's cool. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion. If they really like it and they like the color signs, go for it. That's cool with you. You know. End of the day, you make a great looking content. Thank you. I appreciate that. I always try. So the next thing coming up, did we cover everything? So auto mode, flight characteristics we had. Design wise, it's pretty much the same as the Autel Evo 2 Pro, just smaller. And I'm not sure if these are really carbon fiber or if this is like plastic and sticker around it, or it doesn't really matter though. I think I do think though it's real carbon fiber though, because that's how they save the weight too. So I don't know. This hard plastic on this one was different, but they still do the same thing. They still fly. They still take gorgeous footage. You know. So what else? We had battery life. We had software wise. I still think they need to update stuff because there's still small kind kinks in there, like for the hyperlapse and stuff. I tried the quick shots. I'm not a big fan of quick shots because I do a lot of manual flying, but the quick shots are cool, like the rocket shot and all that stuff. If you, for example, you want to act out something instead of sitting there with the controller in your hand and you're looking out at your drone, you can just put that aside. You push the button, you leave the controller right there, and you do what you want to do to make it look like that you're busy doing something. You're not the one flying it. You know, ultimately you are though. You know. So, do you think Autel will bring out Evo 3 Pro? I do not know because Autel is not talking to me. I'm sorry, I can't answer you that question. Time to fly on the Lite or E2P. Wait. Oh, talking about 60 FPS. If you want best video quality, upload to YouTube. Gotta use 4K 60 FPS at 200 mbits. It will be amazing the details it will keep it versus 30 FPS. He has a point there, guys. It's true. So Sean Helm, the follow mode firmware was supposed to be out late February. Not sure when it will get it now. I don't know. They had an update, and I'm sure people had issues. And plus, they never. That's the funny part. They put out an update, then they tell people, oh yeah, you can update it via over the air, or you can go on a website, you can download it. You couldn't download it at all. Like there was nothing there. You couldn't download it. You know, that's the bad part. You offer that service. I looked on that website for 35 minutes that time, and I could not find it. So I had to get a strong signal in order to update. You know, because without a strong signal, you're screwed because you're missing data packages and all. They gotta have hands full at the moment. Yes, they do have their hands full with money of people who bought stuff. So anyways, I think that was it pretty much. For those of you guys who didn't know, I use Sky-Fi area mounts like crazy for all kinds of stuff, and they also brought one out for the Autel Evo Lite Plus. Definitely look into that. Link will be in the description below. I appreciate all you guys who come by all the time, who support me, and who leave donations and all that stuff. It helps me tremendously because my channel costs me about $150 a month, and I'm trying to cover that with the views, with donations, with affiliate links, with whatever. I haven't reached that part yet. I don't make much, okay? But I'm trying to pump out as much quality content as I can. And on top of that, I try to be creative. Sometimes you're going to find videos that are like, what? There's no head talk video? No straight up into the camera? Nope. It's going to be something totally off the rocker, something weird, creative to just bring the content to you know. I hope you guys enjoy it. I enjoy all you guys coming, and I totally appreciate you guys supporting me and always sticking around and always doing stuff. So until then, please don't forget, be a nice human, make somebody else smile, and definitely pay it forward. Love you all, everybody. Aloha.